Hello explorers, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we'll be continuing our exploration of Ghana, and today we'll be visiting Jamestown. For those of you that don't know what Jamestown is or why I'm making a video about Jamestown, let me give you a brief history about Jamestown. But first, before we start, shout out to the barber shop where I got my beautiful haircut in Accra, Ghana. All through my journey from Benin Republic to Ghana, my hair got very rough and I needed an haircut. But this barber shop in Ghana gave me a very good, beautiful haircut. Their address is going to be on the screen. In case you're ever in Ghana and you need an haircut, please make sure you reach out to them, tell them from me, and you're going to be getting the best haircut you can ever imagine.
Doing church as business in Africa here. So me, I don't go to church. I don't follow any whatever church pastor says. I don't. Means Vulture, and it tells us that this is where our ancestors' body were laying, and then the vultures eat the flesh. So you can see the drawing of the vultures over there when you see the yellow. This is one of the slave dungeons that built in 1472. It connected the slaves from here underground, from here to the British fort, from the British fort to the point of no return.
So the brief history about Jamestown. Jamestown is located in Accra, Ghana, and it is one of the oldest districts with a rich history dating back to the 17th century. Initially, it was established by the British as a trading post and subsequently developed into a bustling port town. It served as a hub for the Atlantic slave trade during the time of the colonial masters. Over time, Jamestown evolved into a densely populated urban area characterized by its vibrant local culture and historical landmarks. The community remains an important cultural and historical site in Accra, known for its colonial-era architecture and the iconic Jamestown Lighthouse and the annual Chalewote Street Art Festival, which celebrates contemporary Ghanaian culture. Despite facing challenges like poverty and urban decay, Jamestown continues to be a significant area reflecting the rich history and dynamic culture of Accra, Ghana. Today we'll be going around the town and looking at different historical landmarks in Jamestown and also telling you stories about these landmarks in Jamestown in Accra, Ghana. I hope you are ready to join me on this adventure. On getting to the Jamestown Lighthouse, I met a family that was about to be taken on a tour around Jamestown. And I met this tour guide who is called Rasta, and he said I could join them. There's no specific fee to pay for the tour, so it is all based on negotiation. But if you are ever in Jamestown, I think you should locate the Tourist Information Center on the right hand side of the Jamestown Lighthouse, which is what I'm showing you right now, and they can give you more information about payments and allocating a tour guide to you. But make sure you negotiate very well. One thing I noticed about Jamestown is the different works of art that can be found on the walls of the street. There are lots of artworks on the streets of Jamestown that look really beautiful and add to the beauty of Jamestown. Rasta, our tour guide, as he described himself, is like a father figure to the children of Jamestown. The children in Jamestown who do not like to go to school or are not very good in education are made to go into sporting activities such as football, basketball, and the likes.
We put their mind into sports activities. We give them basketball, football, boxing, and etc.
Rasta also helps sponsor these children education by building a community school where children in the community can go and get affordable education. At the end of this video, we eventually went to the school, but I could not make a video because it was raining by the end of this tour. The first place we visited was a place where colonial masters smuggled our forefathers through after the slavery was banned.
So what we have over here, this is one of the slave dungeons that built in 1472. It connected the slaves from here underground, from here to the British fort, from the British fort to the point of no return. And then the intention of the British slave masters building this is to hide the slaves from the Gold Coast people, for them not to see that there's a slavery going on. So everything here is underground, from here to the British fort, from the British fort to the point of no return. And then most of the slaves that walk from here to the fort are the Ashanti slaves, picked from up north. They have to walk all the way from far distance from Ashanti region to here. A walking distance from this dungeon to the fort takes about 40 to 50 minutes. So a lot of slaves get weak and very tired, and most of them died in here. And then when they died in here, instead of the British slave masters to bury them, they refused. We have a town here that known as the Vulture Town. Vulture Town is a place whereby the British slave masters throw the black body over there, and then the vultures eat the flesh of the black slave. But this time around, this dungeon is still using because when it rains, water comes in here. So we use this place as a water fountain joint. These are part of my kids that the ones that does not want to learn, we make sure we push their mind into sports activities. We give them basketball, football, boxing. So when they are tired or they want to fresh up with the water, this is where they do camps and get clean water. 1472 by the British slave masters. My brother, I can stand here with you and then you take a photo and then we come out. You join me.
Can you see how dark this dungeon is? Slaves were made to walk through this dark dungeon for about 40 to 50 minutes, and some of them shit and pee in this dungeon, and a lot of them even die in this dungeon. Next, we'll be going to the Vulture Town, where dead bodies of black slaves are thrown and vultures feast on them. If you're enjoying this video so far, please don't forget to subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and don't forget to click on the like button. This is going to encourage us to keep on making beautiful videos like this just for you. While going to Vulture Town, we walked through the community of Jamestown and saw the way some of the people of Jamestown lived.
So we're still in the British area, and then you see this yellow building over here. This used to be the first secondary school that built by the British slave masters, and it is only for the British slave masters children that come to school over here. And the name of the school is known as the St. Edmunds. Only for the British slave masters children, the white children that come to school over. And then we have our own belief already before the slave masters came. We were worshiping our worship called Voodoo. And that's our belief. We have a belief that the Voodoo ancestors drop messages to God. So when we talk about Voodoo, this is one of the Voodoo house, that known as one shop. That's where we participate with anything about Voodoo. We see Voodoo as pastors and as doctors. But due to technology issues, the white stripe creates our belief into a bad belief. But when you guys come to Jamestown, we still follow our Voodoo traditional vibe. Every August or every September, you can see a new Voodoo prince that has went into training, that has been qualified to come out to help people in this community, which we still follows our Voodoo vibe. So normally when you guys, like, if you guys want to enter there, it's not allowed to go in there with slippers. So means you won't go there with the slippers. But for all of them, because they're wearing sneakers is allowed to go there. The reason why it's not allowed to wear slippers enter there is that these slippers, I can use the slippers to go everywhere. Use the washroom, use the toilet. And these places are not, because this is the only place you don't wear these slippers enter the shoes and allowed to go there. And that's what we do in here. So when you come around to it, you might see a lot of Voodoo vibes in Jamestown.
Like I would always say, Voodoo is not evil. Voodoo is like Christianity or Islam, and it has been practiced in Africa before the white men brought their religions to us.
The drivers really drive rough on the road, so let's walk fast. So when we talk about boxing, I told you earlier on that the boxers started boxing from early stage. This little boy is 9 and he's very good in boxing. Bring the bass loud. He's very good in boxing. He's very good in boxing. Yes, please. And then what happened is that when I talk about cemeteries or where black people was buried, I told you we're going to visit a town that known as the Vulture Town. But also the white slave masters also have a cemetery. Now whenever the white died, they use that place as crematoria or they bury it. So on your back side, you can see there is a white body over there. That's a British cemetery where they do bury the white or crematoria. So we're going to see where the black people, when we died, where they lay our body and then the birds eat it. So let's cross the street.
It's like Auschwitz.
We are now in the Vulture Town. Vulture Town, you can see the word over there. Akpangaje. Akpangaje means vulture. And it tells us that this is where our ancestors' body were laying, and then the vultures eat the flesh. So you can see the drawing of the vultures over there. When you see the yellow building, you see vultures over there. This is where our body were laying. And then this statue that we have over here, this man is the good fisherman in Africa who was born and raised in Jamestown. He's the most powerful fisherman that has trained a lot of good fishermen how to do good fishing. And he has challenged a lot of European ships that comes here to fish in Africa here. We normally fight with them, and then he passed away to Ghana. And he was in buried here, and then have a statue over here. Big catch. Now we are moving from here to the boundary between the Dutch and the British. So let's move to the boundary between the Dutch.
I know you must be wondering that what does it mean by the boundary between the Dutch and the British? So let me tell you. In the 17th and 18th centuries, European powers, including the British and the Dutch, were heavily involved in establishing trading posts along the West African coast, particularly in what is now Ghana. Jamestown in Accra became a focal point for these activities. The British built James Fort in 1673 to solidify their presence and protect their trading interests, particularly in gold, ivory, and slaves. Similarly, the Dutch were active in the region and established several forts and trading posts along the coast, often in close proximity to the British installations. The competition between these European powers led to the establishment of boundaries to delineate their areas of control. This was to avoid conflict and to ensure that each power could operate its trade activities.
From here up to the long monument over there with the watch, that's end of Jamestown. Jamestown ends up to right. When you go to see, this is the Dutch area, and then the Dutch area is known as Saint-Pé. Then when you walk all this, it is known as the British area, which known as the Voodoo. You're going to see the flag post office that built by the British slave master.
So excuse me, you said this is the Dutch area?
This is Dutch, this is
British. So this road here is the boundary?
The border between the Dutch and the British.
Alright.
The reason why they divided our town into many parts is that they get to know that the people in this neighborhood are very strong and very powerful. So when they combine them together, it might be very tough for them to enslave us. So they use their mind to divide the towns into many parts. So this is the first post.
Unfortunately, I did not record what he said at the post office, but he said something about the post office being used as a means for transferring information secretly and preventing the black slaves from learning what the colonial masters were talking about. Sorry.
This where the slaves that picked from here to Brazil in Bahia. Many of them returns back in 1830s and settle here. So you see the green building over there. From all that side is the Brazilian section. But when you guys walk over there, there's a house over there known as the Brazilian house. There's a street over there known as the Brazilian street. And then many of them started having affair with a lot of Ghanaian people here. So when you guys come to this community, almost 5 to 7% of black people speak good Portuguese. Almost 4 to 5% of black people have Portuguese names. When you come here, you had a name called Notorious, Azuma, Nelson. These are all Portuguese names here. So that's where they settle. Let's keep going. So this yellow building over here used to be the British slave masters' offices. Whenever the British slave masters are ordering the slaves, that's why they do come in here and book an appointment before they started shipping the slaves to so many countries. So now the slave master's house has now turned into a Bible house. That is why people in this community doesn't buy with Bibles. In fact, when you go, you're a pastor, you go into some house, and you try giving a Bible to someone in this house, this neighborhood, and throw the Bible away because we know they use the Bibles to enslave us. So we people in this community doesn't buy with Bibles at all. And then the most funny thing about Africa is they really use doing church as business in Africa here. So me, I don't go to church. I don't follow any whatever church pastor says. I don't follow it. The reason why I don't follow it is that I know there's a creator that created me and you. The only thing that the Creator needs from you and me is get the good, get the righteous, and make sure you are good always. That's the only thing the book that needs. So we don't follow 505 at all. Yeah. I don't follow 5 at all. Yeah. Do the good video. I'm going to talk about Nigeria. Yeah, so this is the British Palace, that known as English Alata Manche Palace, Jamestown, British Accra. So the word English, that's a Ghana language. I'm a Ghana, so I don't understand English very well. English means English, and that tells many of the Ghana tribe that the slave masters from the UK, this is where they settled. And then the word Alata is referred to the Gans. We migrated from Israel to Sudan, from Sudan to Nigeria. So the word Alata means Nigeria. It means the Gans migrated from Nigeria, and this is where they settled. And then you can see there is a statue over there. That's the paramount chief of Jamestown. 97 years old, spent 37 on top of the throne. He's the 5th chief that we have. This man passed away some years ago, and we haven't elected the next person yet. The next person could have chosen by the oracles. But they are trying to bring Christianity and Muslim tribe to choose the next king. So the people in Jamestown says, if you are trying to bring those religions to choose as a next king, then we don't want a king. That is why it's empty now. For 11 years ago, no king, no chief, no queen. We want to live by ourselves, because if you are trying to bring Christianity or Muslim tribe to rule us, never. That is why it's empty. And then on your back, that is the British fort. That built in 1633 by the British. Looks as a slavery activities. After they stopped the slavery, it became the prison. So this is where Osagyefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, the Prime Minister of Ghana, that was him. That's him. He was being jailed here in 1950s. And then he came out in 1957, and then we overthrown the British away. And then that is, someone might ask, why was the Prime Minister was being jailed there? The reason why he had to be jailed there is that in 1950s, it was revolution time, and we do not have independence. And then each and every member of Gold Coast knew the evil things that the British slave masters were doing to our people. So Nkrumah has a group of people that known as the Big Six. These were the Big Six. So this was the people that fought for Gold Coast, and then the name was changed into Ghana. When Nkrumah was jailed there, these 5 of them were standing outside, and Nkrumah was giving messages through his toilet papers. Sorry to use that word. Because the slave masters were like seeing themselves as so special. So Nkrumah knows that these people, unless before we can rule them, I have to use my mind. So when Nkrumah goes to, sorry to use that word again, when he goes to the toilet paper, he writes things on it, whatever the British slave master says there, and then they bring it out, and then the people, this group people get to know that this is the plan of what the slave masters wants to do. So Nkrumah was able to communicate with these people through the toilet papers, and then we were able to fight them, and then we moved them away in 1950s. And then we got independence in 1957, and we were free. Nice. Yeah. Let's keep going. Yeah. What we have over here, that's a grave of one North American, Master and Supercargo. He's the Western's notorious slave master that ships a lot of slaves to so many countries. He died in 1820s, and slavery was abolished in 1700s. After slavery, this man says the black people are the most powerful people he likes to give birth to. So this woman had a lot of wives in Jamestown to have children with. So when we call his name in Jamestown, almost 17 to 20% of black people in Jamestown carries slave Davidson.
Wow.
After slavery, you have to go. I've seen that African children are the powerful children. You have to have wives here. I have to have wives to give out birth to. So he married about, I think, 6% of black women in Jamestown here to have children with. So when he calls his name in Jamestown, millions of people in Jamestown carries his name.
Bye.
What's his name?
Davidson.
Joseph Davidson.
Joseph Davidson. Okay.
The Western's notorious slave master, the evil slave master that ships a lot of slaves to so many countries.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Davidsons in the UK.
What about the black part in the history as well? And I'm curious,
So
that.
what we have over here, that's a drinking fountain by the governor of the Gold Coast, 1910. Most of the slave masters that were having affair with our great-great-grandparents, this is where they do fetch water here, and it was built by the governor of the Gold Coast, 1910. By the governor of the Gold Coast. Yesterday was the last day we had a party from the UK. There's an event that goes on every first September called Block Party.
Yeah, I saw it online.
You saw it online?
I missed that.
Yeah,
I would have loved to come.
UK's party. It's all black. All black vibe. Lot of black UK. Come stay here and do a big party. Yeah. We call it Block Party. Block Party. Yeah, Block Party means, although they did as slavery, we still ruling them in the UK. We still coming with a lot of money to Africa. So it's like they make money. They make rich in UK. So they have block money come to Africa.
Hey, block.
Block Party.
Now we are back to the Jamestown Lighthouse. The Jamestown Lighthouse is just like every other light tower, which is supposed to serve as navigation aid for fishermen and boats. Over the years, it has grown to become a tourist center, and it was built the same time the James Fort Prison was also built. Behind the Jamestown Lighthouse is the community school, and we'll be going there to end our tour of the Jamestown community.
These are the classrooms. So these are the classroom, and this is our subject. This is the Ghanaian subject of what we teach the kids. We even teach them French. The reason why we teach them different languages is that the slave master, the first reason why they came here, they realized that we are fast of learning languages. So one of the main reasons why black people we were just Egypt is they use languages to enslave us. They use different languages to enslave us: French, Spanish, German, Dutch, and those languages. So I speak about 14 Ghanaian languages, so now I learned a little bit German. I'm learning Chinese because the Chinese are now occupied a fishing harbor. So right now I'm fully learning Chinese because I know they are the next slave masters, which we want to fight. So if we want to fight, it's first we learn their language.
Yeah.
So right now I speak almost 16% getting to 20% Chinese fully. When a Chinese man stands to me and he speaks, I do understand what he's saying. But to exchange with him is what's less. But I'm still learning because when we don't look sharp, Africa will get this. So we have to look sharp. Yes. So these are my classrooms, intermediate and the beginners. This is how we have to end up the tour. Donations from your heart go straight to the food. Books, pencils, uniforms, lunch, toys, hospitals, and any currency at all. Dollar, euro, pounds, should help to the school. Yes, please.
At the end of the tour, we made donations towards the school, and I went on to the fishing harbor to see the ships. The fishing harbor is now under construction and is quite inaccessible, but by the time you go to Ghana, the construction might be done or not. As you can see how drenched I am from making beautiful videos like this just for you. Please make sure to support our efforts by liking, subscribing, and sharing our videos to your loved ones. Thank you for watching, and until I see you again on our next adventure in Ghana.